What is going on, guys? It is Ahmed, and welcome back to Your Pop, Your Pursuit of Purpose. So today I'm going to be talking about a pretty hot stock that is just not slowing down. That is CCIV, which is actually a SPAC, a special purpose acquisition company that is potentially going to be merging with Lucid Motors. Now, the reason I'm going to make this video is I want everyone to be careful getting in on this play. Again, guys, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, but I'm just here to tell you guys what I am doing with my stocks and what I'm doing with my stock picks and things that I've mentioned before. Now, as you all know, if anyone is following, the channel and the journey, if we look back, I went back to January 12th. I made this video on Churchill Capital, which was initially when there was some rumor about CCIV merging with Lucid Motors at $14.96. If you go back and listen, I did mention, although it did have its run up, that 40% run up for a SPAC, I thought that this was still extremely undervalued and I was willing to risk it and buy the rumor. Now again, since then, it's run up insanely, more than doubled, 130% increase in price since that video was made, again, just a few weeks ago. It's at $32.14. Again, guys, only on the rumors. Now, what I want to address today is talk about this Churchill Capital stock, and it's still running up. Motley Fool made this article, and again, I'm a person who believes in Motley Fool because I really like the way they put things, because it's straight to the point and very short and sweet. Before I continue, go ahead and use the link down below to join the Discord, completely free. I don't believe in charging people to have good conversation with other like-minded investors. So please join us, hop in, come talk to me if you'd like to, and talk to the others. There's people who are in there that are a lot more active than I am. And also go ahead and use my link for Webull. If you don't use Webull currently, it does give you access to trading the pre-market and the aftermarket, as well as some other advantages it has over other brokerages. So as long as you deposit $100, you get 4 free stocks. All right, let's keep it going. CCIV, guys. So Churchill Capital jumped another 23% today. And this is true. It kind of held strong. 27% increase in price over the day. That brings its gains to over 200%, because we know where SPACs start, guys. SPACs start right around $10. And even though it hasn't yet, even though it has not invested in an operating business, guys, when it comes to SPACs, I remind everyone what we look for in SPACs. Letter of intent. That's the first order of business. They have a letter of intent with merging. We don't have that with Lucid Motors and Churchill CCIV. I'll just abbreviate it. Now, the other thing, we don't have a letter of intent, which means we don't have a definitive agreement. A DA, that's the second thing we look for. So guys, we don't have either of those two things, and the stock is running up because, again, if the merger goes through, if they have a definitive agreement that comes out in the next week, the next month, however long it takes, we know exactly where this stock is going to go, and that is directly to the moon. But until then, I need everyone to be careful. Guys, at this point here, any money you put into CCIV is going to be extremely risky. Very, very risky, because again, it could either go up, but with the same token, it can go directly back down where we saw it right before, the January 14th mark when I made that video, back to $10 or maybe a little more than that. Because again, CCIV as a SPAC doesn't have much of a reputation. Lucid Motors is a company, strong behemoth of an electric vehicle company relative to all the other ones that we saw in 2020 come out. We could talk about Nikola, we could talk about Hyliion, we could talk about all of them. All these other SPACs that came, that these companies that went public via SPACs that ran up to $40, $50, $60. The same thing can happen with CCIV if the merger goes through. And if it doesn't, it's going to come dropping down. So I want everyone to be careful, and that's the reason why I wanted to mention it. Now, they talked about the valuation of the company, and I think that's something I need to highlight for everyone. Currently, at today's share price of over $30 per share, that would mean a greater than $45 billion value on the company. Let's take that for a second, everyone. NIO stock price. I'm going to pull that up real quick. NIO's market cap currently, as a well-established, it's been public for, how long? I know we are in an EV craze right now, but again, buying in right now to CCIV is like buying NIO at half its price now. So it's at $55.77. Let's pull it down to about $22.50. So we're looking at, it's as if you bought NIO back in October. If you believe in CCIV, if you believe in Lucid Motors, I should say, I understand that you want to chase. And I understand the fear of missing out, everyone. Trust me, I've been there, and I've been hurt by it. I've lost substantial money from chasing, and I understand how hard it is. But again, I say wait for, at least at this point, if you have not bought in, wait for some news. I know that's not the favorable thing, but that's just my personal take on it. For me, I bought in early. So for all of you who bought in around the $14 range when we talked about it in the video, $15, because again, it's all rumor, don't be afraid to take some profits. But at the same time, if you want to hold on tight, see where this goes, if you could stomach some volatility between now and the merger, if the news ever comes out, so be it. Then that's what I would say is, again, depending on what kind of investor you are and how much money you have in it, you can hold on tight, see where it goes, because again, it can go take us to the moon. But with the same token, remember that I'm not here to hype up anything. At the same time, this stock can drop down, and it could be kind of painful for anyone that gets in up top. So we'll see what happens. We just need some news before I am comfortable saying that this is a good buy. But currently, I say it's either a hold or a sell. Again, a hold or a sell. So if you're someone who bought in early, it's okay to keep on holding. Take some profits if you want. But if you did not, I would not recommend hopping in right now, because that is just a dangerous game that you're playing. Because again, you're at that point literally gambling. And I always say the stock market, I know sometimes it does seem like you might be gambling here and there, but I'm not a person who gambles, nor have I ever. And I believe in buying something that makes fundamental sense. And again, buying into church CCIV early on because of the rumors. I always say buy the rumors, sell the news. At this point right now, we have the news kind of priced into the stock a little bit, to a certain extent, because I know there's still some skeptics that are saying that, oh no, I'm not going to buy until I hear some news. But guys, please be careful with CCIV. Again, when we do see a definitive agreement and we see a price, there was a pullback since, but again with THCB, a battery, Microvast merger, we saw what happened when they announced that they had a definitive agreement finally. I was a person who bought in when the LOI was there, the letter of intent. And again, how I always play SPACs is, let's go back. I bought in maybe around the $11 back in November. And since then, it did shoot up to 128%. But now that there's a definitive agreement with Tuscan Holdings, once they merge with Microvast, I'm a person that's very long-term on this company. I could see it go to 30, 40, 50, 60. And I really don't know, because again, Microvast has a product that is out there. So I want you guys to think about it like that. When we see a definitive agreement, this is typically what we see with price action. But currently, what we're seeing with CCIV, because people are really anticipating this merger, we're already seeing it climb up quite a bit. And it seems like it climbs, consolidates, climbs, a little bit of consolidation, climbs. So that can continue to happen until we hear about a merger. But at the same time, guys, if CCIV comes out or Lucid Motors comes out and says we are not going to be merging with CCIV, we're not going through a SPAC merger, unfortunately, we're going to see this thing drop. Please be careful with your money. I always say that. And as always, guys, let me know in the comments down below if you're in CCIV, if you got in early, and what you're doing. Are you holding long term? Are you waiting to hear the news? Are you selling for some profits? Let me know down below. And until next time, keep investing.